Oh yeah, we've got some skies. Look at, wait for the auto exposure to, Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. So it's about 30 minutes until sunset. I've arrived on location running a little bit later than I was hoping for, but fortunately I'd already worked out what I was shooting and where. Out in front of me I've got kind of a big valley with some ridges and then some distant mountains, and we've got some nice clouds. At the moment the sun's breaking through the clouds, which is obviously not going to be a good time to shoot, I wouldn't think. I've shot kind of looking in this direction quite a few times before, but I've never done it from this particular vantage point. I've normally shot from higher up, and I just found this one when I was out exploring the other day, and I think the lower vantage point is letting me avoid some distracting elements that otherwise appear in the scene. Now, there are four possibilities here. I'm hoping that as the light breaks through, it's going to create a nice set of sort of light and shadow texture patterns on the valley and the hills. I'm also hoping that it's going to give me a nice sky, but it might not. But there's a possibility that I might get a nice sky once the sun dips below the horizon and we get some bottom lighting on the clouds. So that might make for a second possible image. So the first possible image is, you know, I get a nice sky and some nice light on the foreground. The second one is I get a nice sky and maybe a bit of reflected light on the foreground, which works. The third possibility is that if I keep my composition fixed, I could potentially composite the two images. So I could take one shot for the nice foreground and one shot for the nice sky. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you can make it look reasonably natural, and other times it just looks too fake. I mean, it's going to be fake anyway, but it looks too fake. So I'd have to see. And of course the fourth possibility is that none of those things might happen. I might end up with nothing. That's always a possibility. But hopefully it won't be. So the setup I've got the 70-200 lens on. Turn the VR off. I've got the 70-200 lens on. I have got it at 200mm. I've got a 3-stop hard-edged ND grad and a 2-stop hard-edged ND grad on, because the sky is a lot brighter than the foreground. Even when the sun was behind the cloud, it was a lot brighter. And I want to pull out some detail in the foreground. Of course, using a hard-edged ND grad on a lens at 200mm, it's pretty much the same as using a soft-edged ND grad, because obviously you zoomed in so much that that transition is spread out. But hopefully it will work. I'm shooting at f11, I'm focused on infinity. There's nothing anywhere near me that's in the frame. But I think I need to wait until the sun is either behind a cloud or just about to go behind a mountain. I'm going to take two shots. I'm going to do one shot now. and I'm getting some lens flare, so I'm just going to block the sun and do another shot like that, and that's hopefully going to give me a decent foreground. I think it's just a case of waiting now. Sun's going to dip below the distant mountains in probably about 5-10 minutes, so I'm just going to hang around, wait until that happens and see what we get. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim for a shot just as the sun dips behind the mountain. Okay, I've got a decision to make. I've misjudged the position that the sun is setting in, and that means if I want a shot with the actual sunset in the scene, I've got to recompose. If I recompose, that means any chance of doing a composite image has gone. I think I'm going to recompose. Just means re-angling the camera a little bit, maybe changing the focal length just a fraction. Okay, I have recomposed the shot. Sun's just gone behind some cloud at the moment, but what I've done is I've moved the camera around a bit, up a bit, so angled up a little bit higher to get more sky in, because more interest in the sky than there is in the landscape. And I've gone to about 105, 110 millimeters. So the composition that I've finally settled on, now that the sun's just dipping down, there's a ridge line that goes out, that's coming in from the bottom right hand side of the frame, and then there's kind of mountains, the sun's over on the kind of left hand lower thirds, and then the sky with some nice clouds and some colours, and hopefully that will work. Just a case of waiting around now and see if we get anything nice in the way of post-sunset colours in that sky. It's quite nice now, but it's quite orangey. I'm hoping it might go a bit more red. Oh yeah, we've got some skies. Look at... Wait for the auto exposure to... Look at those skies. Gorgeous. Oranges, reds, streaking patterns across the sky. That sky is just awesome, and I just had to try and find a way to fit a bit more of it in, so I've quickly put on 16 to 35 lens at 24mm roughly. I've put in the 3-stop and the 2-stop hard-edged ND grad to hold the sky back, let me get some detail in the foreground, and I'm just taking a shot. The composition probably isn't that great, but that sky is just awesome, incredible. I had to try and get a shot of this. There's a peak out there which has got kind of like a swirl of red and orange clouds around it. So I'm shooting at 200mm. I've taken the filters off. I can balance the exposure without and still get some detail in the foreground a bit just before that peak. Probably going to crop this 16 by 9. Colours are absolutely gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. Certainly glad I came up here this evening. Okay, the colours are now fading. There's still some really vibrant reds out that way, but the colours over where I'm shooting are fading away now. The oranges are going, it's turning dark. We're about 25 minutes after sunset. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it when you get this. I'm going to wrap this video up now. If you've enjoyed it and you're not already a subscriber, please consider hitting subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very much, I appreciate that. If you've enjoyed it, please consider giving it a like or a share, or both. Leave me a comment, I'd love to hear from you. And as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch, so thank you very much. And until the next video, bye. Sorry if that was a bit rushed, the battery's just about to go on.